Welcome everyone to the Voices of Terminus show. We got Lex with us, who isn't a happy bunny. Say hello, Lex.
Yeah.
And we got Josh with us. Hello, Josh.
Hello.
So, before we go into the stream and watch it with you guys and review everything, we just saw Hive Leader team up with the devs from VR, showing us the Cleric perspective. And they showed off a few new things. There wasn't all that much more information given, but there are a few talking points. And before we get into them, I'll bring up the stream and then we can go from there. So let's go and kick that off. All in all, great stream again. But most important thing is, we have somebody here in our show who ran his mouth yesterday, and
It was Josh.
Jopper. Oh, actually no, stop. Actually, before we get into that, right here, this is where they actually showed it. So you guys all remember our Druid show that we did. Now, right there, we see Spirit of the Cheetah. And we actually mentioned that in the Druid show. And increases your movement speed for 24 minutes. The defensive spell. The Cleric has it, but there's still hope that this could be something that maybe all heal classes get. Maybe that's a way of what they might be thinking about. But we mentioned Spirit of the Cheetah, and no, we haven't seen this spell before. We weren't given any inside scoop or anything like that before anybody starts speculating there. But yeah, so that's one thing to point out. But the big thing is, somebody in our group ran their mouth yesterday, made a bet with the devs, and Dropper was kind enough to accept. And Josh, if I'm not mistaken, they held up their end.
They did.
So
quite clearly.
So somebody has to go on and do a video and say how awesome paladins are. Apologise to all the paladins for the years of misery he's given them and slack. And I believe that was you, Lex.
Maybe.
So
I'm a man of my word. It will happen.
It will happen, and I will make sure it happens. So don't worry, guys. We'll get that done.
Even if he's got to hurt his foot to catch me again.
Yes, my foot's actually healed very fast. I got the cast off today. I can tread lightly on my foot now. So I should be back in training on Thursday. But I'll take it slower this time. But anyway, they teamed up with Brad McQuaid, Ben Dean, which played Mikhail. They had Jopper, Chris Perkins playing the Shaman. They had Sethos playing the Rogue, and Zoe playing the Enchanter. And then we had their Hive Leader as a Cleric in this one. So they had two healers, so in all fairness, you know, they had a better chance this time around with that encounter. But this time they took a different route. They took the right, they went left, sorry, they went left this time. But I'm going to skip forward because we've all seen this already. But there is one moment we have to take in. I'm going to go and skip slowly forward. So we get there. And we need to talk about this area right here. It's basically when you go into Black Rose Keep, you enter the first main hall. And when they clear it out, I'm going to pause the video and we're going to talk a bit about this because I'm blown away. How it's visually come together, shadows, the lighting, the way the darkness hits, the whole atmosphere surrounding. When you look up, you see that faint fuzziness that you can just see figures in the background. I think it's a really beautiful sight to take in, and we'll talk about that in a minute.
By the way, Moko pointed out that your title bar at the top of the stream says shows 116.
116, it does. Let me go and fix that. So I knew there's something I forgot, but hey, it's not a VOT show without any.
If we were professionals, we'd be getting paid.
Yep. I mean, if we were professionals, Josh would have had the audio on, because we were sitting together. We were sitting together in Skype already, watching the stream with Hive Leader. Me and Lex were, you know, chatting back and forth, and Josh was wondering, what are these guys talking about? Because he was reading what chat was saying, and we're like, you know, dude, if you had your audio on, you'd know what we're talking about. So
I didn't have a clue what they were talking about. I was thinking, is the stream maybe a few minutes ahead of what I'm seeing? What the hell's going on?
We're sitting there going, wife! Well, at least I was.
So, I'm really starting to I'm starting to get a little excited for this game right now. I think they have a key element that's going to help with one of the biggest concerns that MMOs have is the dying of older zones. The way they're going to approach this, and if they use this tactic for a multitude of zones, I don't see a worry for them having that problem that older zones are going to die out and be uninteresting for people, because it's known that Black Rose Keep, and this is not just going to be for Black Rose Keep, will have multiple layers of levels for different kinds of groups. You're going to have low levels, so this is basically where they are on the bottom floor right now, is level 8 to 13. At the top is 18 to 22 on the balconies. And that's throughout the whole entire zone, all the way up to level 35. And I think that's going to be a key system, a key function for them to prevent older zones becoming obsolete, uninteresting for people. And throughout this stream, Hive Leader asked about, you know, training to the zone. And there was a funny comment about basically training actually over to the next zone. And that's not going to be the case. They will. If you engage in an encounter and run away, it will train you all the way to the zone line, and then it will stop. But we were sitting here thinking that could be a cool event to do, actually. You know, a GM event or something like that, where the NPCs actually zone with you, and then, you know, cause havoc on the other end, and would kind of make for a fun event. It would be a nuisance if it was a feature that was definitely in, but it kind of, I think it would be kind of fun. So taking in this view,
I love the coals against the armor there. That's amazing. one thing I want to say, what I would love to see happen now to add to the immersion, and to actually make it feel like you're inside this castle. On the top right of the screen, it's paused right now, you see a banner hanging down. Now, they're not moving at the moment, but if they could add a slight tint of movement to it, as if wind, you know, the wind's coming through.
Just a slight ripple.
Yep, that would make it even more... it would make you feel more immersed into that zone. You know, you could like almost feel the chill coming in from the entrance and from the skylines at top. And I think that would go, you know, that would be my little bit of extra that I would love to see happen. And we can actually see a floating Brad right now. So we have a floating Brad.
That's a feature.
That's a feature. It's not a bug. But I think that, you know, those
levitation,
details,
level 20 spell.
I think that would add to it as well. But because you see all the torches moving, the light and everything, and having those banners move, just a hint would make it even more great. I mean, it's great as it is. I love the way the lighting bounces and reflects off the walls, the shadows. You can see right in the far right corner right now how dark it is up there. You can't see anything really. And wow, this is an amazing looking zone, and something that pre-alpha 3 testers will be able to indulge in.
Yep, it's going to be good.
Yeah, I mean, it looks amazing. There's still a lot of little things to be done. I mean, you could theoretically add a little bit of flicker to the candle flame. Mm-hmm. You know, things that are complete fluff. but would add an awful lot to the atmosphere.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, so at the top of this balcony, those are level 18 to 22s. Down here, level 8 to 13. So it's laid out for multiple zones, and I think that's a key factor.
Sheesh, that's incredible.
Mm-hmm.
So,
watch your AEs, or it could be disastrous.
Yes. They also talked about a few of the mechanics from the mobs. You know, the Foss mages that have a very bitter AE, which we saw throughout the game. But the balancing, the way they've done it, seems to be really on par. They have these mages that can cast an evil AE, but they go down fairly fast if you focus your DPS on them. And you know, that just feels on par with, you know, being a mage. Mage class. You know, the bruisers are a bit tougher. Then they mentioned having the ravens that are really evil, and it feels like they've done a lot of balancing and a lot of work, and have given a lot of thought towards the NPCs ratio towards the players ratio when it comes to the combat. So you can see the passion and love they put towards it. And you've got these little recruit guys. Yeah, they get beat down.
My hopes were soaring when I saw this.
Yes. So, Dropper mentioned as well, you know, if you look back at the main hall, the tables with books and a feast on the table, the cabinets, the chests around it, the perception skill that they will be implementing into the game will play a major factor throughout your gaming experience. You'll go into zones, into dungeons, and you'll want to explore and pay attention to the environment itself, to the building, the zone. There might be something that hints information for you, giving you a little bit of background maybe on encounters, how to, you know, what to look out for, how to engage something. So you'll want to explore. Maybe that cabinet to the left here might hold some secrets, or give you even some insight into the lore of the keep and background story. I actually like that, you know, not just going in there, running around, beating down some mobs, but actually exploring and trying to see if there's any hidden tidbits here and there.
It would be nice to have certain pieces of information spread out over zones, so you can piece them together and create a chapter within your own diary, for instance. That would be great, and it adds to your perception points or something like that.
So this is where the first wipe happens, and there wasn't too many this time, so they did pretty well. I think it's twice. I counted twice or 3 times. Am I correct?
Sure.
Somebody's not happy.
No, I'll be completely honest. I made that challenge hoping to kind of push VR a little bit to, you know, get that obviously challenging boss down. And I guess it did the trick, because out of spite or whatever, it worked, and I'm going to pay the price happily.
Very nice.
Mm-hmm.
So the core feature of this game is, you know, for people to socialise, hang out, have fun, explore zones, and, you know, create experiences over the years to come. And there we have the first wipe from Fiona Iridia. Hope I'm saying that right. But the animations, you know, the artwork's come a long way.
Mm-hmm.
It does. It looks. You can actually see the different types of gear you as a player or the NPCs are going to be wearing. You can see if it's leather or cloth, or if it's chainmail, or if it's plate armor. You can actually visually see it, and that looks really great. I'm starting to really dig this.
Well, personally, I'm a very vain MMO player.
Mm-hmm.
My character has to look the way I want him to look.
Mm-hmm.
And I actually kind of finally have the hope that my Dire Lord is going to look the way I want him to look.
Definitely.
Yeah, exactly. There's going to be good choices in terms of drawing up your characters.
Yeah.
Variations. So I'm looking forward to that.
Yeah, they mentioned, the Hive asked the question if the different races are going to have different characteristics, different stats, and start off in different areas and have unique racial abilities, disadvantages, advantages, and that is the plan. That's the plan for all these races to be uniquely different, and start off in different areas, and
all I can say is hallelujah.
Yes, definitely.
Agreed.
So there was one moment I got to ask you guys this during the stream, because I kind of like the feature as well, but I can understand the arguments against it. So Hive Leader mentioned that the active target, when you click on a spell and you switch your target, you would automatically, for instance with the heals, your heal would go, if you have like Mikhail clicked and you switch over to Aradun and you've already cast your heal, that would then go to Aradun, so you could basically switch mid cast on who you're gonna cast on. Do you guys think that's a good feature to have? Because Jopper mentioned maybe a possibility to have that as an option for people to do, or do you see that as a game breaker? How do you guys view that?
It's a toughie because the spell cast times are fairly long. So I always try and look at it from a logical point of view. So if I'm trying to focus on one person and trying to cast a spell and I see that person's injured, can I shift my focus onto him and cast a spell on him? Maybe you can, type of thing. My initial gut reaction was no, but maybe it can happen.
My initial gut feeling is do a mixture based upon cast time. So a short duration cast, we'll just throw a number out there and say anything that's 3 seconds or less. When you start to cast that spell, your target is locked, no matter what you do, unless you interrupt it naturally. But for something that's longer than 3 seconds, maybe, but you might have to do it within a certain amount of time. Like once it hits the halfway point, it's locked in.
Yeah.
And that way you do have a little bit of reactive kind of healing, so that can kind of make the healing job a little more exciting.
Yeah.
Right,
I just want to add to what Lex is saying, because I think he's spot on. I think maybe if there was a little bar above the cast bar, it filled up a lot quicker, and if it filled up to the point where it was full by the time you were focusing on one person, that means you can't change it from that one person.
I'm kind of on the fence with this. I've got a different viewpoint slightly. When it comes to mages and healers, them being of magic, being the true fantasy types, I think it should be based off a skill. The more you've mastered the control of a spell, the chances are you're going to be able to have the control and the energy of your body to actually switch mid-cast. If you look at fantasy D&D and you look at mages, the concentration it takes them to cast a fireball and hold that fireball, or hold a flame up, or a lightning strike, it's kind of something I would see being mastered. So I kind of like the option to turn it on and off, but that's I'd also like to see an option where it's definitely skill based, something you could earn along the way. Now when it comes to a tank, a physical, doing physical damage, unless you're obviously a Dire Lord or Paladin, but the warrior, for instance, he should be able to switch mid-target.
Yeah. That's interesting. So I think it's something to think about.
Yeah, I mean, it's one of those things where you could really do a lot with it. You could hold it off for a specialization.
Yeah.
you could even say that as part of a mechanic, if you switch targets, it takes more mana. So it's a trade-off.
Yeah.
So there's still the strategy. You have to decide if the extra mana is worth it in this time, or if you just want to go or cancel or whatever.
That's actually a good way to bring that mechanic even into it, because it makes sense for me for you being able to have to be a master of that spell or have a full control, because you're casting a heal on somebody, or you're casting a utility buff or something like that on somebody as a mage or as a healer. It's going to cost you a lot of energy to do that. You know, you're not throwing a sword or you know, holding up a shield or pulling an arrow. You're actually using magic in some form or fashion. So it should be. I think if you switch mid-target, it's taking more mana from you. Or what's your yellow bar again? Help me out, guys.
Endurance.
Stamina.
Maybe if you cast midway, your stamina's gone. Your endurance.
Right.
Well, what about if you are casting and you switch over to another target? It restarts that cast bar.
You could do that too. Well, we know that what was said is that's technically a broken feature right now. Their plans are to have, when you start casting, your target is locked. But that doesn't mean that down the road that can't change. You could, like I said, you could do it for specializations. You could do it for a level reward or a quest reward, or maybe it's something that your epic allows you to do. I mean, they can really do whatever they want with it.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah, exactly.
I thought the question was a good one. That was a good question he brought up there, and a good point from his standpoint. It being a bug, you know, sometimes bugs become features. And I think there's a very unique way to bring that in and make it a feature that would make it very interesting and add even more towards the immersion and the realistic side of how that character would be played. If you're playing a mage, you shouldn't be able to switch target, but it's a cool feature. I do like it. I do like the thought. It just has to be implemented right.
Yeah.
So there was that question. And then he also talked about the cooldowns. So at the moment, all the healers have the same cooldown, but it's something they will be working on, where it makes sense, where it doesn't. So, you know, we're meant to take that with a pinch of salt at the moment.
Yeah, at this point in the development, they're really not going to sit down and crunch all the numbers to find out which one's more efficient and make them better or make them more on an even ground. It's just not that point in development. That's all.
And again, this is where you know what we just previously talked about comes into play for me. I think cooldowns should also be based on your mastery. So if I've mastered a spell or used a spell more often, the less it will fizzle, the more control I'll have over it, etc. So there again, the cooldown should be based on how often do I use this spell. What level is this spell? What level am I? What gear do I have? So if I've kind of, you know, specialized or geared up or used the spell more frequently, my cooldown should maybe almost deplete, because I now have full control of that spell, and it would kind of make it feel more natural as well.
It does make sense. The thing is, I would be very careful about how much. I would say like no more than like 10 or 20% max, because when you got a long spell such as like complete heal from EverQuest 1, that was a 10-second cast, and if all of a sudden you're taking, you know, 50% off that thing, that is so overpowered it is unbelievable.
I would rather do it another way. I would create maybe meta spells that you could learn as well and develop, and these meta spells that could enhance or decrease the cast time for all your spells, basically, if you cast that certain meta spell on yourself.
I would actually like to see that differently though. We know you're going to have offensive, defensive, self spells that you're going to be using. Maybe you have a choice of meta spells that you would use. So you could either reduce the recast timer for your offensive spells, or for your heals, or for your defensive spells.
You know what? Maybe that's where the mana crystals are going to come into play.
Possibly.
Maybe. Yeah.
That could.
I could see that fitting in pretty well there.
Yeah, I agree with you.
Yeah. Definitely.
And I got nothing.
You got nothing. So let's go and legitimately bring up. Come towards the end, where they go and take on Commander, and that so that we have it on air, and we need somebody in chat to clip it when they get into this fight, so that we have the proof, so that the evidence isn't wiped or anything like that.
Yeah, because that'd just be a shame.
And yeah, but a few things to mention. We didn't do our normal podcast today, obviously, because of the stream. It cut in with our our timing, so we decided to opt for this. People out there in chat that are interested in the game that haven't pledged yet, they have a special offer going. If you're interested in getting more involved with the development of the game and helping the developers bug fix and test out areas and zones and give them initial feedback on the state of the game currently, you can get into pre-alpha with the 1k pledge package that they have that was previously cut from pre-alpha until the 1st of May. So anybody who's now purchased from the cut off until the 1st of May will gain access into pre-alpha. This is a very limited chance to get into testing and hang out with all the other pre-alpha testers and bug fix the game and explore and give the guys some useful feedback to make it the game that we're all hoping it will be, not just for the developers but for us as players as well. So that's until the 1st of May, basically. So you have until Tuesday to get in. They also have other pledge packages if the 1k is a bit too much for you. They've even opened up the option for you to pledge on the monthly basis, so you can do it for $100 a month, or you can pay it as one lump sum, which is also a limited time offer. They previously took that away as well, where we had to basically purchase for 1k only. So if you're interested, you have that available to you. And there's other pledge packages on there. Go to pantheonmmo.com/join, and for the special offer /packs with an X, that's where you'll find all the information needed. So this is where the fight happens, everybody. So everybody enjoy this. We get to see Lexa apologize to Paladins after this one.
Eat humble pie.
Gopper held up his word. He accepted the challenge, and
well,
in style.
If you were paying attention to Twitter today, there was a post from Joppa saying that they're going to be practicing a little bit today. So I have a feeling Joppa was kind of like, we're just let's go and stick it to old Lex.
That's like, hang on, let's have a look. We're having trouble here. We've done 3 or 4 streams now where we can't get past this encounter. We've only had 1 healer. I'm going to try it with 2 healers. That should do it. They thought about this one really well. But Joppa held his end up.
Yep.
And the whole team did. So applause to VR for finally downing Fiona. And they even got ads as well in between. So they mastered it very well. And this game is just so... I know it's really
visually pleasing.
Yes, very visually pleasing.
And extremely challenging, as they've stated, by the looks of it. So that's great.
As we've seen, they wiped, God, how many times yesterday?
I think 6 or 7 times. 4, 3, 4, 5, 6. I don't know.
Yeah.
It was a few. But
and they killed her on a previous stream before, but only because she didn't regenerate when she reset.
Yep. But the way the game's been designed, the way it's looking, the whole atmosphere and everything, it makes you want to explore. You're not going to go into this zone and just stand there and want to go. You'll want to run around and see what's around the next corner, what's in the next building, in the next doorway, in the next hallway. It makes you want to run around. I can't wait to see this.
I think the best way to say it is Pantheon makes you crave the adventure again.
Mm-hmm.
Exactly.
Yeah. So, any last words, guys? Because, like we said, we're not going to do a long stream today. We said all we had to say. I've said all I have to say. But enjoy this fight. I think they've only got Fiona now left. Yep. So now we'll watch this fight to the end. Somebody better be clipping this.
Oh, I know somebody who's definitely going to be clipping it.
And he better put out a tweet then as well and tag Jopper, the Pantheon MMO, and thank them for making Lex publicly apologise to Paladins.
I'll never forget this, and I'll never forgive you, Joppa.
Joppa, Joppa, Joppa.
And just to point out real quick as well, the reason they do these streams is to reach out to different audiences, to bring out the awareness of the game, to reach out to people that haven't maybe had an interest in EverQuest, or played MMOs, like yesterday's stream. Cooper Trooper, yeah, that's it, Cooper Trooper. His audience isn't known for the MMOs. So it's a good way to bring them into the mix as well and show them the cool factor of MMOs, because MMOs are freaking cool. They build friendships for life, everlasting memories, and they're a good way to save money. You could go out and spend 50 to $100 on a weekend out in town, or spend 15 to 20 bucks a month having just as much fun at home, playing with your friends.
And I'll be completely honest, MMO saved my life.
Yeah.
So, we want to just point out as well that next Friday we'll be doing the stream that was meant to be doing today. We will not be releasing our calendar too far into the future, because we do not know if we are planned to have more frequently more streams like this. So we'll basically be doing this by feel a trade monthly, maybe.
Yeah.
So that we don't mess up. We had planned to release our calendar for almost the whole entire year, but a few things have come up for me in real life that are going to prevent us from doing that. And obviously, with the development of the game, the way it's going, the way it's progressing, I can foresee quite a few more streams in the near future. So we'll basically do it by month. Yeah, that's it from me. What do you guys have? Anything else to say?
Yeah, just that I think it was a good stream. I really enjoyed it. Mm-hmm. Thanks for Hive for popping by as well. Good stream, guy. And yeah, I think development is moving forward at a nice clip. I think it's getting closer and closer and getting more excited.
For me, I'm happy to see the progress. Every time they stream, even from yesterday, we were getting more little tidbits of information that are kind of whetting our appetite a little bit. Even the crumbs are better than nothing, which is where a lot of MMO developers really tend to drop the ball. Yeah. They get to be so secretive and so afraid to share information that you don't feel like you're a part of this world anymore because you're just playing a product. With VR, you are going to be joining a world. Yeah, you're paying for the product, but that's so the product can stay alive and so that the guys who have put blood, sweat, and tears behind this thing can actually go home and feed their families. Yeah. Other than that, you know, all I can say is hats off to the Hive Leader. Great job healing.
Yeah, fantastic job. And you're absolutely right. Just to quickly supplement what you just said, you know, some developers do end up making everything secretive, or the other way around as well. They talk too much. These guys seem to have a knack for revealing tidbits here and there that keep your appetite going, keep you wondering, and keep you interested. They don't go, you know, they will not answer what they're not ready to answer.
Well, that's the thing with VR. They'll tell you a lot of information. They'll tell you a lot of maybes. They won't promise you things unless they know it's going to happen. Mm-hmm. Whereas you have a lot of these other games, I won't name names, Daybreak, EA, that they promise you the world.
It's a nasty cough you got there.
I know, it's 12 packs a day smoker. They promise you the world, and you end up getting like a paper airplane. Mm-hmm. That's not going to happen with VR. If it was going to happen, we would have seen a lot of evidence through the streams by now. I think, me being usually the very, very skeptical person, I can safely say that this is not going to happen with Pantheon.
No, definitely. Dayhawk, if you're here, mate, I got a job for you. You need to now take the visual image of Lexa, draw him out in full, standing up from the side, hugging a paladin, and then I want that image sent to me, and I'll have it printed out, and I'll have it behind here, just like I'm gonna have that. Just like I'm gonna have that other image done. So Dayhawk, there we go. Have Lexa hugging the paladin, saying, "I'm sorry, I love you so much," and then I'll have that hanging up.
Do me this one. If you do that, do me this one kindness. Make the paladin a female, because at least then I can tell myself it's my wife.
I would also get a T-shirt made with a paladin on there with a big shield.
Oh, definitely, yeah.
Paladin's rock, and he's got to wear that shirt for.
Right, hang on. Right, that's it. We've got a giveaway. We've got a giveaway coming up. I will have 5 T-shirts made with the image of Lexa hugging a paladin, and we will give them away. I'll work out the details now with Dayhawk getting me the image. I'll get those T-shirts ordered. I'm thinking sometime May, June is when we'll do the giveaway for this. So look forward to the giveaway where we'll give away 5 T-shirts. The 5 lucky winners. We'll think of something for you guys to do. Nothing too hard or anything like that.
All I can say about that is, Joppa, do you see what you've done? Do you understand what you have done? You have destroyed me. You have broken me.
So, people are asking in chat, can I buy a T-shirt? That is something for the future. We're definitely working on a VOT store where we'll have mugs, cups, T-shirts and stuff like that for you guys to purchase to help support the stream, support VR, because most of the proceeds will go to VR when you purchase our stuff. But that's something that we're still working on. There is no current date I can give you for when we're going to be opening up the shop. I have a lot of things still to work out internationally and on the site as well at the back end to make sure that it's working properly. I don't want to overstep and give you guys a time frame, but we will have stuff like that planned for the future. And yes, we will put that T-shirt then later on up for sale, and we'll even have one of those T-shirts. Here we go. We'll have one of those T-shirts. I'll send it to Lex. I'll have him sign it, and then he'll send it basically to the lucky winner. How about that one? That'll be the top prize, or we'll sign it. All three of us will sign it.
Yeah.
All three of us will sign the winner's T-shirt and send it out to the that'll be the #1 T-shirt. Okay, so there's an added bonus for you guys. So with that, thanks for joining us. Next Friday is back to our regular show, unless VR come in and mess that up for us. So
they'd never do such a thing to us.
Thanks for watching. Thank you, VR. Thank you, Hive Leader. Brilliant stream as always. Keep up the good work, guys. And we'll see you all next Friday. Have a wonderful... Actually, yeah, next Friday. We'll have a great weekend, and we'll see you all then.
Cheers, guys.
Be safe, everybody.